guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I have the beautiful Alma with me and we're going to be talking about experience getting into Oxford and Cambridge.
We actually met at the Access conference, so that was like 2018. Way back in 2018 we met, and then because we were in the language thing, and then we just stayed in contact, and the rest is history. Oh, and then we did Link together, and then you guys invited me to be part of Link.
Alma and I, we work at Link, and Link is a youth-run organisation that works with communities to mitigate the risk of girls dropping out of school because of menstruation. I'm going to put a link in the description and you can go on it, read more on our website about what we do and how to support us. But today we're going to talk about our experience at Oxford and Cambridge, how the application process was and everything. In filming this video, I did think it would be good to have, because I'm a linguist, I thought maybe it would be good to have another student who does STEM maybe. But then actually...
I was thinking, wait, does she know that I do? Of course she knows.
Alma who does engineering.
It's like choose the wrong facts. Sorry, continue.
But no, like in the end, I thought about it and I was like, it's actually good that we're both linguists because the representation of black students in the language department is lacking. And also like there's like a hierarchy of degrees in a lot of ethnic communities, and you hear people joke a lot about their parents telling them things like, in life you can either be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a failure. So how is like personally telling family members what you do at uni?
No, because there's a lot of trauma. I was talking to someone about this the other day. I can't remember who I was with. But there was a time I went to Ghana in 2017 with one of my brothers, and we went to my auntie's like house for her birthday party, and her boyfriend was there. And he was talking to my brother. My brother said, "Oh, I might do economics. I might do some type of engineering." He didn't know at the time what he wanted to do. And the guy was engaging him. Oh yeah, do the engineering. If you can do aeronautical engineering, you can, do more stuff and everything. And it was lovely, happy families, Then it came to me. He was like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Languages." The way he looked at me, and then he goes on to say, "Oh, which languages are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm doing German and Spanish." And he's confused at this point, like properly confused.
Is this girl okay?
He definitely went home that day and was questioning, trying to do the maths. He was like, why German and Spanish? Why not like Mandarin or Arabic or French? And I said, well, that's what I'm interested in, because I would like to think that you go to university to study what you like. And then he just proceeds to go and tell me how I'm gonna fail in life, that I'm not gonna succeed in any way because you don't get anywhere with languages. Like languages do not take you anywhere. It's not valuable. I'm not gonna find a job that makes enough money. And like, I'm not even kidding when I'm telling you, this man actually called me stupid. He said, "You're stupid for going to do the language." And I just sat there and I was like, And at the time, I didn't have the mouth on me that I have now.
Should have been snapping
because today you will not finish your sentence. And so 16-year-old me was like, cool, fun times. I went home and I cried like I've never cried before. I was like, I'm about to start year 13. I'm not year 13, year 12. And this is how I'm going into it. And it was definitely it was a humiliating moment because we were in front of other people as well.
Like, I totally relate. I remember the day, not even the day, but the week that like I got my offer. So my church community back then was really supportive. So I went to church that Sunday and I shared the news with the people who knew I was applying. Everyone was really happy. And at the end of survey, this lady, this African auntie, she saw me like at the exit and she was like, "Oh, like, are you the girl that got into Oxford?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh my God, that's really good, like well done, we thank God. So what are you going to study?" And I said, "French and Spanish." She's like, oh, you know, even if it's a BTech that you're going to study, I mean, it's Oxford, so, you know, it's okay, well done, well done.
Huh?
Amma, when I tell you, the number of backhanded compliments I've had to stomach, I feel like those attitudes make it such that a lot of black students feel like they only have a set like number of degrees to choose from, which is not true. And I mean, like, even with me, because as A-level I was doing maths, further maths, French and Spanish, and I always thought I wanted to do maths, and so, and like my dad knew this and he was like very happy about it. And then when I told him, actually I think I'm sort of leaning more towards languages, he was like, languages to do what? And I had to be like, so I can do a law conversion, I can go into investment banking, and then he started smiling.
It's the investment bank. I was like, you know what? It's like, it's not too bad.
It's okay. But like, I think that's like really important, because a lot of people do think that like, if I want to be an investment banker, then I need to do a STEM or like maths or whatever. They don't know you can like. I remember from like internships I've done, the people who are in senior positions in investment banks who've done like, I don't know, history, classics,
other degrees before they've gone to their careers.
Exactly. So I think like it's really important to know that you don't need to have study. I mean, like, okay, you're not going to become like a surgeon or whatever.
No.
But like, you do have a number of options in terms of career available to you. Like, you're not going to become, you don't have to become a translator or a teacher.
Yeah, I think it's really good to highlight that, especially if you do particularly come from an African household. If they're not hearing law or engineering or investment banking somewhere along the line, they're not really buying into this idea. So if you research and you look at what options are available to language students after degrees, I think it puts them a bit at ease, because ultimately, for as much as we complain about our parents and uncles and aunties, like, they do want the best for us. We all know, you know, what it's like. They just want us to have a secure foundation for the rest of our lives. So if you assure them that actually this is not some bogus degree, I can actually get a lot out of it, and I can do a lot with it, then it's fine. You have the year abroad, so the year abroad also gives you that option to try different things out, and then you can decide to go and do that later.
Exactly.
But definitely tell them, listen, just because I'm doing languages doesn't mean I'm translating the Bible into the rest of the language. Like, it's not about that. You can do so much more with it. Let's start.
Okay,
I mean, it's the same, but it's kind of different.
There's some differences. Okay, so I applied. So you apply, you have to do the MLA, which is sort of like what is a test?
It's a grammar. Because I did the MLA in preparation just for fun. So it's mainly grammar questions.
Exactly. So I did the MLA, so you submit your application. Depending on your course, so for French and Spanish, you had to submit 2 essays, so one for French, one for Spanish. Do the MLA, and then you wait to get invited to interviews. Not everyone gets invited for interviews. I remember the language interviews were in December, and I think they told us if you don't hear from us by the 10th of December, then like you didn't get an interview, I think. Or like they should let you know when they didn't get it, but I think the general sort of like everyone sort of knew if like by the 10th you didn't get or anything, then, you know. And so I remember the week before the 10th of December, I was like so stressed. I was like, why are people getting invited? I have not gotten an invite. Like, oh my god, I did not get to interview stage, and I was really, really stressed. I remember one day, I think it was like a Friday, I was going home after school. No, I don't think I was going home actually, but like I was leaving school. So I was on the bus, was texting my friend, and then like I get this email, opened the email, and it was like the invitation to my interview. I got off the bus, started crying. It was raining. It was the most dramatic.
You don't know if it's rain or tears. But something's happening.
Oh my god, it was the most dramatic, like something out of a movie. Me like reading my interviews or like email, like it's raining and I'm crying and I'm texting my friend. Like, I'm so dramatic. So yeah, that was like so dramatic. But went to my interview the following week. I had 2 rounds of interviews. Yeah.
Do you have to stay a week?
I stayed for 3 days, I think.
Okay. So in Oxford, do they make you?
Yeah, some people stay for longer, but I only stayed for like 3 days. Had 1 interview in Spanish, 1 interview in French. In terms of like personal statement, they didn't I think the French people mentioned like personal statement, the Spanish people not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't really like mention much, which was a bit like painful because I spent the whole night like going over it, like memorizing everything I said. And I feel like it's still good that I did that. You need to be like, you know, everything that is on your personal statement and be able to talk about it so easily. But yeah, they didn't ask much about it, which you know, they give us a passage beforehand to analyze, and you're not allowed to go on your phone or anything, and then you go into the interview with the passage. I think that was for Spanish. So yeah, that was that. I remember I walked into the office with my Spanish tutor.
Yeah.
So she got up. I was so nervous. She was directing me to my seat. She was like, "Oh, good, like go and sit down." And she put her hand out. I thought she wanted to like greet me, and so I did this. And she was like, "Sit down." I was like,
sit.
Okay, yes, I will sit. So,
Great start.
yeah, fantastic. So yeah, that was that. That was funny. I mean, like in hindsight, it's funny. In the moment, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
No,
It is a weird feeling because, for good reason, interviews are hyped up, and it can be quite nerve-wracking to go and you're sitting in these offices. They can like be small, nothing too intimidating, or they can be, you know, these really old rooms, and it can feel quite overwhelming in the moment. So, and even little things like that, when they do happen, you feel tiny. In no matter the size of the room, you feel tiny and feel so ridiculous. But then when you come out and 2 years later, you can reminisce and go, that was a funny time.
That was funny, no,
in the moment, it doesn't feel like
that. That. So yeah, that was my interview experience. And then in January, we got the letters and the emails. I think I was feeling so bad the day I knew the email or letter was going to come in. I didn't go to school.
Really?
Yeah. I woke up, I was like, I'm not getting out of bed. I just stayed in bed. Or maybe after the letter came, then I went to school like later.
I was like, oh, okay, guess I
No, I was just feeling so like nervous in my house. I was like, I can't leave my house. Like I just
the whole. But I do.
If I have to cry, I want to cry while I'm at home.
Yeah.
If it's a rejection, I need to be in my house. Yeah, I'm not gonna be crying at school. So
honestly, I mean, for Cambridge, so it's more or less the same. So we don't have an MLAT or I don't know what they call them, just pre-interview paper or exam or anything like that. We do an exam when we get to the interview, which I personally feel is better. It was hard. The exam is hard. It's very simple on the surface, but to do it in the time that they want you to do it and everything, it's quite difficult. But they're not. I personally don't think that they're expecting too much, and you end up doing a lot better at it than you think. But yeah, you apply, and to prep for the interview, because basically the other girl who was in my German class and was also doing Oxbridge to do languages, was going to Oxford and she needed to do the MLAT. So I said, okay, I'm just going to do the MLAT anyway and just in prep. You don't lose anything from doing it if you're applying to Cambridge.
Just improve your grammar.
Yeah, and it is actually genuinely quite interesting to do.
The nerd has spoken.
Yes. And one thing that I would recommend to people, before I even knew whether I was going to get an interview, I did a lot of mock interviews the first time round when I applied. I also was part of TargetOxbridge, so they offered some resources and other mock interview avenues. So my personal statement, listen, I know they say don't pass your personal statement around, but everyone has read it. Everybody who could read my personal statement. Because I wasn't necessarily taking everybody's advice and trying to. I was taking everything with a pinch of salt and then saying, actually, this person has said a bit of me, and I want to include that, or I want to change this. And so I got that done. And then Cambridge make you fill out a whole other bunch of forms. I couldn't even tell you what they were. But I remember I sat on my bed one day and it just all over my bed. I said, the work I'm doing to get into this uni, if I don't get in, I'm gonna fly. So you do the SAQ, and then once all of that's submitted, any extra stuff they'll ask you for your send, like I had to send GCSE certificates and stuff. And then I got invited for an interview. I actually can't remember the day I got I don't think I can remember the day that I got invited for my first interview. Don't know what I was doing, where I was, but it happened. Did so many mock interviews. I did everything. I did so much more reading of like stuff I'd mentioned in my personal statement to see, okay, have I missed this out, anything. I did a lot of prep. Had the interview. It was a long day. I mean, you had 3 days, but it was Cambridge, they only do it 1 day. And I'm grateful for that because it wasn't dragging it out. So I stayed over at college. I had my Spanish first and it didn't hit. It really didn't hit at all. And I felt really discouraged from it because I was thinking, if that's my first interview, I don't know how the second one is going to go. My dad was with me the whole day. He's just wandering around Trinity, just walking around. And then I had the exam. I had a bit of time between that interview and the exam, and we did a whole like pep talk, and he got me going. He's like, just give it your all, do everything you can. Went to the exam, and the exam, so the Cambridge one is you get a passage in English. It's not an easy passage. I know some mock ones I did. One was about cyborgs and being sentient and stuff like that. Bearing in mind you have to write an essay question in the language, I'm sitting there going, how do you say cyborgs in Spanish? So you answer one question in English, an essay question, and then the other one you do in the language. I did it in the language I'm most strong in writing. And then you do that, that's done. Then I had my second interview. I gave it everything. I researched all my interviewers beforehand, and I knew that this particular supervisor was interested in medieval and middle high German. Went in, he was like, do you have any questions at the end? I said, yeah, so I was listening to your podcast on BBC Radio and you were talking about what you specialise in and stuff. I said, can you just explain a little bit more about what you meant by this and why you got into this course? The guy talked about himself for 5 minutes. I just sat there and I said, yes.
Very interesting.
Absolutely. You go, girl. Yeah. And I just milked it. I had nothing to lose. And yeah. Do you remember the day you got your offer?
Yeah, that was the day I didn't go to school.
Oh, wait, the interview offer and the day when you got your...
No. The interview offer day was when it was raining and I had the whole dramatic scene. And then the day I got sort of the final offer, was when I didn't go to school.
Wow. Yeah. I went to school, I said, you know what, if I don't get in, I don't get in. Although it's been a dream of mine for a while. Yeah, I went to school, I said, if I don't get it, I don't get it. If I do, great, be moved. Everybody had been getting emails in the morning. I was thinking, oh my goodness, I don't want to be around people if I've got rejected. And everyone's like, oh, Amma, it's okay, it just wasn't meant. I don't want that stuff, it was meant to be and it's going to happen.
By fire, by force.
Exactly. And I was like, I'll just open my emails when I get home.
Yeah.
And then it was like during break time, and one of my friends came up to me and she was like, do you know what happened? And I said no, and she was like, just open it. I said no, I'm going to do it when I go home. Anyway, I had to check my emails anyway because I had to email a teacher about something, and I see the email, and I said, I'm just going to open it. And then I didn't even open it properly, I just saw the first line. I was like, dear Amutia, we're excited, we're delighted to tell you. And I said, I saw delighted, I said hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Yeah. And then she was like, did you get it? I was like, yeah, I did. But I said it really quietly because everybody was in the sixth form centre, and I didn't want people to know. And she just starts screaming, I'm like, girl, quiet down. I don't want people to know my business.
Yeah.
And then everybody was coming to be like, oh, well done,
I'm glad you mentioned TargetOxbridge because there are quite a few organisations who help students either from low socioeconomic backgrounds or ethnic minorities with the application process and everything. So I'm going to put a few links down below, and it's usually students who are already at the universities, and a lot of them are so kind, and they'll be more than happy to help you and mentor you through the application process. So definitely do check those organisations out. We're now going to talk about some myths. I think one of the biggest myths that go around about Oxford and Cambridge is that you have to have gone to a private school in order to get into those universities, which is not true. So I think a lot of people don't actually know that there's a higher percentage of students from state schools than there are from private schools. So I think the average for Oxford over the past 5 years has been like 68%, and at Cambridge is something around 62%. So there's actually more students from state schools than there are from private schools. But like those stats aren't good because only 7% of schools in the UK are private schools.
Yeah.
So like even
the proportion.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
if you compare in terms of proportion, it's still very, very disproportionate, and there's still a lot of work to do. However, I feel like it's not fair for students in sixth form or like secondary school to think that there's more private schools students than there are state school students, or like it's like 90 to 10%. Like it's not like that at all.
And I think the most important thing to remember and to basically don't let the fact of whether there's going to be a lot of private school students there put you off applying or giving it a go. It can really hinder that opportunity that you have to see whether you can make it or not. And something that I considered a lot when we met was, at the time I actually didn't want to apply to Cambridge. Bearing in mind this had been a dream of mine for a really long time, it was a little bit weird to be having this moment of, I don't think I want to go there, because I visited Warwick at the time, and it was really diverse. And I looked around and I was like, so I can actually go to school with other black people and not feel like the odd one out. And it was slightly a revelation for me. So then I was questioning, why would I put myself in another kind of majority white institution for the next 4 years of my life and my educational career, when I can have the choice to diversify that environment. It's something that I care about and that I want. And so a friend of mine sent me the Cambridge ACS Access Conference, and I wasn't going to go, but I said, okay, fine, let me go. And I went, and honestly that changed it. Just to see a room, like a sea of black people in one room, all with the same goal of applying to Oxbridge, it definitely shifted my view and the perspective from which I was viewing the whole Cambridge experience from. And to see, so many current students at the time sharing their experiences, teaching us, and like doing mini sessions with us really helped. Don't deprive yourself of amazing opportunities, of amazing experiences, just because you are worried that you might not fit in, that people will know more than you, or whatever it may be. Because it's really just about how you take control of that experience.
No, I'm glad you said that, because I think in my personal experience around that time when I was applying for uni, there were so many voices, like so many people that try to like tell you what to do, what is best and everything. And so like I think I'm really glad that you mentioned the fact that you shouldn't let yourself be like easily swayed by like, I don't know, some stats or what some people say or like whatever. Just go for it. Like you're the 1 in 10. 100%. And I think the ACS as well. The Oxford ACS is A1. Like I'm A1. Okay, I don't know about you long at the camp place, the other place, but our ACS bangs. So that's all I'm gonna say.
I'll keep my mouth shut. No, ACS
in your interest.
Honestly speaking though, both ACSs are really good, and I think they have to be good for what you will experience at times in Oxbridge. It's good to have a strong body and a strong network of other black students who you can lean back on, who will support you, and you have that space for yourself. And so I think both ACSs being so strong really, really helps. I mean, without the Cambridge ACS and their support and my mentor and all the different resources and facilities that they made available to me when I was applying both times, I don't think that I would have gone through some of the mental struggles and emotional struggles that I was having when I did eventually have to reapply, and so many other things, and even now. So yeah, the AC, I mean, don't look at, there's also a thing of don't just think I'm just going to stick to the ACS and stuff. Please do reach out and find other people and go to different societies and stuff. But just know that the ACS at both Oxford and Cambridge are really strong and are a fantastic point of call. need you have any problems, or just to recenter yourself. Because I think when you do go to Oxbridge, sometimes there is a moment where, no matter how fleeting, there is a moment of, I don't really know where I am or what I'm doing and how I'm going to get to where I want to be, or if I even know where I want to be. And I think sometimes being part of the community helps you refocus yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, they do so much access work, so I definitely recommend following them on socials, because that's when you know when they have like a conference coming up for students or things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like that's been sort of application experiences and
condensed.
Yeah, condensed. And I hope this video has been somewhat like informative, has given you that push if you needed it to apply. Like, there's nothing to lose, just go for it. And definitely try to look for people who are either doing the course that you want to do, or the organizations that I'm going to link down below to support you through the process, because it can be like, you know, quite a lot. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them. I'm sure like if you have any questions for Amma specifically, she'll be happy to answer them as well.
I can put my Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. I'll put Amma's details down below as well. You can reach out to her. She'll be more than happy to help you. That is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you'd like to. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.